between all the destroyers, they decided to practically see what Universe 6 and Universe 7 are made out of. As all the other destroyers believed that they were a weak universe, even Belmont believed that, but after seeing Beerus's power, he doubted that even his universe can actually stand a chance. They decided to continue to watch the battle, and eventually the next battle would have been between Raditz and Frost, with Raditz actually being angry as Frost actually resembles Frieza, so he decides to face off against Frost, and without any question, Raditz powers up to Super Saiyan God. Of course, Frost expected it and powered up to his golden form. Both things started to clash, but Ra was actually on the winning side. Because of Rad's training and power, he was able to grow him stronger. And due to his mastery over almost every transformation he has achieved up to this point, Raz became incredibly stronger and his control over the Super Saiyan God was much more better than before. Even Bardock, his father, was even surprised that Raz is this strong. Of course, even Goku was surprised that his brother was actually not giving up on himself. Of course, Raz is not as strong as everyone else, but his strength is on another level. Not on the same level as the others, but on a different one. Close, but not that close. Of course, Frost will be pretty surprised by Raz's incredible strength, and Raz will start to beat down on Frost. Frost starts to get irritated and power up more, but Raz was set to finish this off. His power was Super Saiyan Blue, and we actually be surprised because he had never expected that Raz could actually achieve Super Saiyan Blue. Even Bardock believed that Raz was still a weakling, but seeing that his son is actually able to do this was incredibly impressive. Raz, of course, continued to battle with Frost, as Frost had enough. Frost then powers up as a black aura surrounded him, as Frost powered up to his black form. Frost was so much stronger than him before that Goku could tell that he was even stronger than Frieza back then when he achieved his black form. Of course, Goku and Vegeta realized that Frost is even stronger than him before. They think that maybe Frost has even more potential than Frieza if he is this strong. Of course, they didn't know how much long Frost has been training, but they did know that Frost's potential is immense. Of course, Rise was undeterred, and eventually started to roar and power up. He started to go longer and spikier than before. Both Goku and Vegeta would have been shocked as Rise achieved Super Saiyan Blue 3. This form was actually something that both Goku and Vegeta have achieved a long time ago. But they didn't actually expect for Rise to actually achieve this form. They knew it may be a possible transformation, but Goku and Vegeta thought that this transformation was useless. But seeing it firsthand by Raditz himself, they saw that it is immensely powerful. Raditz and Frost started to continue their battle, with Raditz actually being in a stalemate with Frost. Frost's control over the transformation was incredibly good, but Raditz haven't mastered Super Saiyan Blue 3 yet, so it made it really hard for him to practically keep up with the Frost Demon. Of course, everyone was practically worried for Raditz, and Raditz continued to battle with Frost as their battle was incredibly close, but eventually it came down to stamina, and Frost was winning at this stage. Of course, Raditz started to knock out Frost as quick as he can, but because of Frost's durability and speed, he was able to practically outspeed Raditz, and eventually, after Raditz was out of stamina, he was knocked out of the arena, bloodied, as Frost did not spare him at all, making a hole through his chest. Of course, Raditz cuts out blood, but Goku was able to quickly heal him using some of their adrenaline techniques. Of course, Bardock lets out relief, seeing that his son is growing stronger, but seeing that Universe 6 is not to be underestimated. Goku congratulated Raditz, and Raditz thanked his brother, telling that he would train even harder than before. Goku just smiles slightly as he sees Raditz's determination. His brother is really something else. Goku just smiles as Vegeta also smiles slightly, seeing that Raditz has grown a lot more. Maybe if they have spared him back then, maybe he wouldn't have been a great ally, but they don't have to think about the past. This is their new world. Of course, the next match will begin, as of course Vegeta decided to face off against King Sadala. Vegeta was starting to get slightly bored and decided to practically join the next match. And seeing King Sadala, they both swung at one another, with the King and Vegeta powering up into Super Saiyan 2. But Vegeta of course was still surprising himself, not releasing his true power just yet. King Sadala of course was still impressive to Vegeta, who was able to slightly push him back, but of course Vegeta was undeterred as he continued the battle. It seems that they were on an equal footing, but Vegeta started to use more and more of his true power as he continued to overpower King Sadala, and eventually they decided to both power up. With Vegeta powering up into true Super Saiyan God, and of course King Sadala powering up to Super Saiyan 4. But of course Vegeta was easily able to overpower him. Vegeta thought this may be overkill, but he decided why not. Of course King Sadala would then power up to his much stronger form, and Vegeta decided to do the same to match his power. King Sadala would then power up into Super Saiyan 5. Of course, Goku and Vegeta were surprised because King Sadala didn't know King Sadala could actually achieve this type of power. They believed that only Raditz maybe could achieve this power, or even Bardock only, but it seems that King Sadala was able to achieve it. Of course, this didn't deter Vegeta as he powered up to his primal Super Saiyan God form. Of course, Vegeta continued to battle with King Sadala as both of them were almost equally matched, but Vegeta was still surprising himself. He didn't want to go all out just yet, but he could tell that King Sadala was immensely strong. They continued to battle as the battle continues to go on, and eventually it became incredibly intense. Even Goku was incredibly impressed by King Sadala. Jumbo would explain that King Sadala is one of the most powerful Saiyans because he has almost 90, almost 100% S cells, being 99% S cells. Of course, everyone was actually surprised that King Sadala actually has that much S cells, meaning that he has never been evil in his entire life. Since most evil Saiyans have incredibly less S cells, while of course Vegeta, Goku including himself as well, have much more S cells than any normal Saiyan. But Bardock is also included to this because he's not actually an evil Saiyan, but it's more like a neutral Saiyan. So that his S cells are much more higher than before. Of course, both Goku and Vegeta believe that maybe Kizawa do have so much S cells means that he has a lot more potential, but they believe that with their hard work, they have much more spaz than King Sadala. Of course, Kizawa and Bardock and Vegeta would have continued to battle. It seemed like their battle was incredibly intense. Of course, Vegeta would have gut punched King Sadala and sending him flying. Of course, Kizawa will power up a lot more and he too to rush at Vegeta, seemingly trying to overpower the Prince of All Saiyans, but it was no match for him. Of course, they both had to power up to much stronger forms. Vegeta believed that maybe it's time for him to stop holding back. And Kizawa decided to do the same, as both of them power up, shaking the entire arena. Even the Grand Prix was incredibly surprised alongside all the destroyers as Vegeta went into his most powerful form he's ever achieved, being true Ultra Ego. This form is incredibly strong and powerful. Vegeta has achieved this form for a long time and has mastered it. And using it for the first time is actually incredibly impressive. Of course, even Goku was surprised that his friend is able to achieve this type of form. Kizawa powered up into his strongest form, being Super Saiyan 6. He decided to fight if he faced off against Vegeta, as both their powers actually start to be equalized. We actually realized that since Vegeta is almost as strong as him, meaning Kizawa should be almost at the same level, but we could tell that Vegeta was still surprising himself. It seems that Vegeta was trying to break his limits by fighting King Sadala. It seems it was slightly working, even though Goku didn't notice it much. Of course, King Sadala and Vegeta would continue to battle. It seemed that their battle was incredibly intense, but Vegeta was still on the winning side because of his immense strength and power and experience. Of course, after some time, the arena would be completely destroyed, and eventually, all Universe 6 and Universe 7 would have seen their fighters, with King Sadala achieving a new form, seemingly as he has broke through his limits, achieving Super Saiyan 6 Limit Breaker. With this form, he was even stronger than before. But as everyone looked at Vegeta's direction, they saw it as Vegeta was in a new form, much more powerful form, much more darker form. They was actually surprised that this form is actually completely opposite of Ultra Instinct, yet almost synchronizing to a power of Ultra Ego. This is what Vegeta was trying to create. His own transformation of form, a form which is even stronger than ever before. A much more powerful version of his primal Ultra Ego. This is what Vegeta calls Dark Primal Ego, a form much stronger than even his normal Ultra Ego, or even Primal Ego at that point. This power was so greater that it shakes the entire universe, or even the entire world of Void as they were in. Everyone was surprised and shocked by the power that Vegeta was releasing. By Vegeta's presence alone, he was able to shake the entire Infinite Void, and his power was so indestructible that even all the destroyers started to shiver just by feeling it. Yo was actually surprised that Vegeta was able to grow this strong. You could believe that maybe with this form, Vegeta could actually maybe overpower him in his true Super Saiyan Blue, because this power is almost even stronger than that. He was actually impressed that Vegeta was able to achieve this new form. And of course, Vegeta was also surprised himself, but he could tell that this form was starting to get the better of him. Of course, Vegeta started to surprise a little bit with its power and faced off against King Sadala. Of course, King Sadala faced off against Vegeta as they continued to battle, but it seems that Vegeta is actually winning the battle. Of course, Vegeta would have easily started to overpower King Sadala due to his new form. Even though it was a new form and Vegeta was not experienced with it, the power it released was so destructive that even King Sadala could not do anything about it. Of course, King Sadala tried to use self-destruction, but Vegeta just interfered as he used a powerful Black Hakai and annihilated the entire explosion. Of course, King Sadala was in shock because Vegeta was able to annihilate so easily. Because King Sadala remembers that even Jabba could not actually done that. And to see that Vegeta was able to do it so casually in its new form was even more impressive. King Sadala, of course, tried to attack Vegeta, but Vegeta with the quick and swift move was easily able to knock the King of Sadala, and eventually fall to the ground as he was knocked out, bringing another win to Universe 7. But after some time, Vegeta would then power down and be exhausted after a transformation. Vegeta realized that the drawback of this form is incredibly bad. It drains almost all his stamina, and if he keeps it along for much longer, he most likely would lose his sanity. So Vegeta knew that he must master the form to his complete mastery if he wants to practically control it better. You could tell that Vegeta was starting to get a much more better grasp on it. And eventually, the next bad match will begin, being Goku versus Hit. Of course, Goku decided to power up to his just Power 1 Ultra Instinct, and of course, rush against Hit. But of course, Hit will use Time Skip and Power Up. Of course, he will try to knock out Goku as quick as he can, but Goku will just smirk slightly, as he would then pop into his Ultra form. Of course, he will be pretty surprised, but he would then start to power up himself. Goku realizes that maybe he's trying to do something, and he decides to wait for him to do that. And eventually, he powers up. His once purple aura starts to crackle around him, as Goku is actually surprised. As seemingly as he has achieved the same thing as Jiren, his limit breaker form. Goku actually thinks to himself, so he achieved the same form as Jiren, huh? Wait, no, it's actually something different. It's much more powerful, stronger, and more focused. It seems like he has achieved this form a long time ago and has been training with it to master it. Impressive. I guess he's even stronger than Jiren right now. I shouldn't be surprised. He is one of the strongest people I have fought in my previous life alongside Vegeta as well, so I shouldn't be that surprised. They both continue to battle as Goku is actually impressed by his power. He of course will continue to battle Goku and try to use many assassin techniques, but with Goku's immense strength and speed and durability, he is able to tank the attacks and even not flinch. Even Hit himself was even surprised that Goku was able to tank those attacks with ease. Goku of course told him that he'll finish this off once and for all. Of course, he was had to use something that he has actually achieved a long time ago. It's a special technique that only one of his species could use if they have reached almost their true potential. And of course, he decided to use his time domain. It was practically a version of his time skip, but instead of practically skipping time, he can froze it for as long as he wants. But of course, after he realizes that he'll be all out of stamina and energy. So of course, he decides to utilize the maximum of his power to practically knock out Goku and win the tournament. But of course, Goku, now feeling that time has stopped, he just smiles slightly and believes that he's grown stronger, so he should show him one of his powers. Goku then roars, and with a powerful crack, the entire time domain cracks, as Goku achieves his powers up to his true Super Saiyan Blue. In this form, Goku is so immensely stronger that he shakes the time domain with ease. Goku tells him that he's indeed impressive, but the power he's achieved for training so long with his friends and family is just proven to be much more powerful. As Goku with the final hit is able to knock out Hit and eventually win the tournament and the Super Dragon Balls. Of course, Goku tells the Grand Prix that he wants to wish for the time chamber back on Earth to be upgraded so it can, for one day, to be increased to 100 years and nobody can age inside of it. Alongside, they don't need any food or anything like that to probably survive inside. Of course, the Grand Prix is easily able to do the wish. It says nobody in the universe is erased. This is a pretty respectable wish. Eventually, everyone decides to go back to Earth while Vegeta decides to continue to train on planet Beerus. Of course, back on Beerus' planet, Vegeta continues to train with both Whis and Beerus to master his new form, believing that maybe if he mastered it, he'll be able to grow stronger. But he'll also, of course, join the others back on Earth. Back on Earth, of course, Goku and Broly decided to make a pair, with Vegeta, of course, being joined them. And Gohan and Broly will make another pair. Then, of course, Goten and Trunks will make another pair, and of course, Raditz and Gine will make this the last pair. With, of course, the four pairs will begin their training. Of course, everyone grew immensely stronger as 100 years would have passed inside the time chamber, with everyone growing immensely stronger. Both Raditz and Genie would have achieved Super Saiyan Blue 4, with Raditz actually able to master it and even achieve Super Saiyan Blue 5. With his form, Raditz was even stronger than ever before. He was so strong that he could be actually able to defeat Frost if he fought him back then, if not even more. As for, of course, Bardock, he achieved a new form and level of power. Bardock was able to achieve Primal Super Saiyan 7, which is different from regular Super Saiyan 7 because he infused God Ki with it, making him even stronger than before, making him so much stronger that he could be comparable to some of the angels if he fought by himself. Even stronger than his Heavenly Super Saiyan, his form was much more focused on energy and power. As for Gohan, he achieved a new form. By combining the power of his beast form and the divine Ki within it, he transformed both techniques together and combining them together, unlocking his divine beast form. This form practically granted Gohan an immense boost in power, making him so strong that he has ever been before. As of course, both Goku, Vegeta, and of course Broly himself, they continue to train and unlock many new forms. But of course, Broly only was able to go up to only the third level, while both Goku and Vegeta were able to go to Super Saiyan 7 like Bardock. But their forms of Super Saiyan 7 was much more weaker than Bardock's for some reason. They didn't know how or why, but they decided to let it be, since they believe that Bardock is much more suitable for these forms. Eventually, after their immense strength, they were able to achieve new forms of power, both Goku and Broly included. Goku was able to achieve Mythical Super Saiyan Blue, which evolved after his true Super Saiyan Blue. As for Broly, he was able to also master most of his forms and even achieved and evolved his new form, which of course was his Mythical Legendary Super Saiyan, which is an evolved version of his true Legendary Super Saiyan form, with both their powers increasing immensely. As for Jake himself, he mastered his dark primal ego. In this form, he was as strong as Goku was, and even more. Vegeta of course achieved a new form, which was known as mythical ultra ego. Of course, this form was almost similar in power to Goku's forms, and Goku was pretty impressed by Vegeta's power and strength. With all of them able to increase their powers immensely, they're proud of the progress they have made. Even Vegeta believed that now they're the strongest warriors in the universe. Vegeta believed that maybe with this power it would take on Zeno. But of course, Goku was still doubtful about this. But Vegeta believed that maybe if they fuse together, they're able to defeat Zeno. But Goku actually wants them to not be fused together. And of course, Vegeta agrees to this. So they decide to continue to train. And they continue to do that for the next 100 years, believing that with their much more training, they're able to defeat Zeno. But they don't know how much training they will need, is that the point. This is the end for this part, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Sayonara.